blessings to have the Ananta Kalyana Gunas, all the divine qualities of Devi Parashakti. And if you'd like to go ahead and not wait and register yourself for these offerings, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi offerings. You don't need to wait. If you have a couple of questions, if you'd like some guidance on how to do the payments or how to do pay through super chat or do the e-hundi offering, if you'd like some more guidance, wait and stay tuned. At the end of this segment, we'll go have a walkthrough for all the steps in this process. So the next offering is the Mukta Anguti, a very special offering of the finger ring with a pearl. Now this offering is referenced in the Meenakshi Pancharatnam, and in this divine sacred chant, Meenakshi is the reincarnation of Devi Parashakti, whom we are offering our worship, and is described to have the finger ring with a pearl. And now I'll just be chanting that verse. Muktaharanala Satkiritaruchiram Purnendu Vaktra Prabham Shinjannu Purakinkini Manidaram Padma Prabhavasuram Sarvabhita Palapradam Girisutam Vani Rama Sevitam Meenakshi Pranatosmitam Santanatadaham Karunyavaram Nidim. I bow down to the goddess Meenakshi, whose crown has garlands of pearls and face shining like the full moon, who wears anklets that are studded with gemstones and small bells, who is shining like the splendor of a lotus, who grants all the wishes, the daughter of the mountain, who is worshipped by Vani and Rama. I remain ever bowing to the goddess Meenakshi, the ocean of compassion. So for Meenakshi, the pearl is known as a very favorite ornament for her. So we offer the pearl as in reverence to Devi Meenakshi. So this offering is a beautiful offering which you can do in order to achieve completion and success in all of your business endeavors. We can go on to the next slide. Yes. So offer the pearl finger and receive the blessings to be showered by Devi Parashakti's compassion and pure love in all of your business endeavors. Yes. The next offering is the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the golden lotus. And in the Kamik Agama, it says that all the kalashas should be wound around with suitable thread and covered with the new cloth, and they should be adorned with the lotus flower made of gold. The next slide, please. So there are hundreds of scriptural references for using lotus in the worship of Paramashiva, and almost everything in worship of the ultimate involves the consecration of deities, of worship, or meditating on, or the mudras and asanas during worship, which involves the flower, the lotus pericarp, and the stems and the flower. So you can offer the lotus, the golden lotus, because it is a sacred item, sacred and divine flower. Even the Shakti of Paramashiva is called lotus, and there's so many other ways that lotus appears in the different scriptures. So you can offer this lotus in any size you wish and be blessed to have the state, space, and powers and being of Devi in your inner space amidst every adverse situation in your life. The next offering is the Swarnamati. So I'll just be chanting the Pramana. Nakadiditi samchana namajjana tamo guna padadvaya prabhajala parakrita saroruha. You whose brightness from toenails destroy the darkness of ignorance from the minds of devotees who prostrate at your feet. You whose brightness from your 2 feet overpowers that of the lotus flower. Yes. You can offer the toe ring to Devi Parashakti, adorning her sacred feet to be in constant gratitude for receiving her blessings even in the most difficult aspects of your life. And the next offering is the Swarna Mangtika, the gold hairline jewelry. Devi Parashakti is also described as the Shuddha Sarabhi Varsha, which means she who makes nectar flow in all of our nerves from the Sahasrara Chakra, she who gives the very pleasant experience of the ultimate. The Mangtika represents the nectar flowing from the Sahasrara Chakra, which is fully open. So you can offer this Mangtika as an offering of gratitude and get then and achieve the blissful state of overflowing gratitude and space of complete completion. Once again, if you'd like to make any of these offerings and go ahead to the next step, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi offerings, Devi-offerings. Yes. Now, the next offering is the most coveted Pratyaksha Pada Puja, which is especially auspicious to offer at this time during the Guru Purnima, Brahmotsavam and during Guru Purnima, which is just coming up around the corner for us. So I'll just chant the Pramana once again. Nakadidita samchanana majhanatamo guna padadvaya prabhajala parakrita saroruha. The illuminating splendor of Devi's toenails dispel the darkness of ignorance in the devotees. Prostrating at her feet defeat the lotus in beauty. So this shlokam number 83 of the Saundarya Lahari states that the nails that have been sharpened by constantly being touched by the crowns of celestial beings who always prostrate before Devi. And tamoguna is considered as darkness. And in this stotram, tamas is indicative of ignorance in the minds of devotees by constantly prostrating before Devi, their ignorance is removed and they attain ultimate knowledge. So you can offer the Pratyaksha Pada Puja and receive the blessings, all the auspiciousness and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And I encourage each and every one of you to do this offering, make this offering on the most sacred day, Guru Purnima Day on July 23rd, this month, which is just coming right up around the corner. So make sure you're starting to plan for how you can make this offering on Guru Purnima Day. Now, the last seva that we have, a very special seva, is the offering of the Vastra Seva, the sacred clothes for adorning Paramashiva and Parashakti. And Swamiji and the Yajaman will receive all the blessings and auspiciousness once again of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in offering the Vastra Seva to his divine lotus feet. Yes. Now, we have a list here of all the offerings that you can do. The Ihundi offerings, Sankalpa chanting, Devi Sahasranama Kasu, the Mukta Anguti, the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the Swarna Metti, the Swarna Mangtika, the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, and the Vastra Seva. All these are available for you to make. And now, in the registration form, there are two options which you can proceed with. One is if you are ready to offer today, or if you would like to make your intention for offering and start manifesting the offering in your life. Then this registration form, if you're interested in offering or you need help in manifesting these offerings or you want more details, you can go ahead and fill out the intention form at tiny.cc/BHAVASAMADHI. And you can make sure that you start manifesting these extremely auspicious offerings in your life. Surely they will transform and change your life in the way that you want. And if you are ready to make the online payment, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi offerings and make the offerings, or register yourself and make the payment. After the payment, ensure that you are going to tiny.cc/Sankalpa 2021, and you can fill out all the details for the puja so that you are bestowed with all the blessings of Devi Parashakti. So now we'll be going through a brief walkthrough of how to make the payment. Yes. So before that, we will go on to the next segment of today's program. The Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham administrators, Manitya Achalananda Swami and Manitya Pranapriyananda, will be joining us to give us the latest updates and also to describe to us, share with us the status and the ongoing updates from the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham, the Kailasa's COVID Care Center in India, in centers around India and in Adi Kailash. So let us now proceed with the next segment in today's program. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with you.
The whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems.
I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you.
We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment time. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all the viewers who are joining with us from across the world during this Devi Parashakti Akashic reading program. And I welcome each and every one of you who is joining us from all of the different temples, the Devalayas, Annalayas, and everywhere across the world, every one of you who are joining. We're entering now into the next segment of today's program, where we'll be understanding the updates from Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham. Today, Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham is one of the Kailasa COVID care centers, where the multi-layer quarantine is being offered in this campus for anyone who feels that they need to protect their lives and they are not getting it anywhere else. In India, more than literally the number of cases have started skyrocketing and we have seen no end in sight. Literally, so many authorities, even the health institutions, everyone is being burned out of hope and burned out because they are exhausted with the amount of cases that are happening and the amount of deaths that are happening. And there are also some extremely serious underreporting, which is ongoing across entire media. And the world is even not being told the straight truth of what is happening. It is a terrifying reality. And in this extremely hellish situation, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, with his guidance and blessings, Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham, as well as 13 other Adinams across India, have opened up the multi-layer quarantine center in order to relieve people, protect people, human beings, from this extremely deadly virus and pandemic situation. Now, let us understand from the Department of Human Services, Kailasa's Department of Human Services, how the Kailasa COVID care centers and the whole work is ongoing at the moment. So first of all, let us understand the world today. The Human Rights Watch reported that more than 1.5 billion students are out of school already. And more than 91% of the world's students are out of school due to school closures in at least 188 countries.
So if we see 36.5% of the US college students, they are pointed to stress as the biggest reason why their academic performance suffered negatively for the past 12 months. And in addition, 29.5% listed anxiety as a factor. For American middle schoolers, 61% of teens admitted feeling a lot of pressure to get good grades.
And we can see also approximately 1.277 billion learners are currently affected due to school closures in response to the pandemic. According to UNICEF, monitoring 46 countries are currently implementing nationwide closures and 27 are implementing local closures, impacting about 72.9% of the world's student population.
Yes, so in a survey by the mental health charity Young Minds, which included 211 participants up to the age of 25 years with a mental illness history in the UK, 83% said the pandemic had made their conditions really worse, and 26% they were unable to access mental health support, peer support groups, and face-to-face services have been cancelled. And support by phone or online can be challenging for some young people.
And the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted or halted critical mental health services in 93% of countries worldwide, while the demand for mental health is increasing according to a new World Health Organization survey.
So recently, a study also found that 18% of the individuals, including people with and without a past psychiatric diagnosis, who received a COVID-19 diagnosis were later diagnosed with a mental health disorder such as anxiety or mood disorders.
Surveys also found that substance use and suicidal ideation are particularly pronounced for young adults, with 25% reporting that they started or increased substance use during the pandemic, compared to 13% of all adults, and 26% reporting serious thoughts of suicide, compared to 11% of all adults.
So every year, over 1.2 million students drop out of high school in the US alone, and that's a student every 26 seconds or 7,000 students a day. So about 25% of high school freshmen fail to graduate from high school on time.
Now, let's see some of the contributions from Kailasa's Department of Education, specifically in Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham, as well as all over the world. Now, you can see, of course, the COVID Care Protection Center is now open, and you can register now through the link below at kailasa.org/KailasaCare.
Yes, so let us now know more about the Kailasa's contribution in the field of education.
Yes, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has declared that Gurukul is a place where celebration begins with the right words in blossoming minds, creating a gateway of possibilities, creating an enlightened civilization with yogic body and Vedic mind.
Yes, so the Nithyananda Gurukul is a school established by... Yes, so here students live their highest potential and manifest various spiritual powers. The Gurukul functions according to the Supreme Pontiff's Hinduism's vision that education is for life, but life itself is not for education. The Gurukul brings to the world the right kind of education that empowers you.
And the current system of education established by Macaulay and Max Muller in India, who are two of the most cruel British government leaders during the time of the British rule over India, is a non-involving narrative style of teaching. And so their entire current education system is based off of what they established at least 50 to 60 years back. The original Indian education system, the original Hindu education system, was not about continuously giving words, ideas, concepts, theories, or theologies. The original Hindu system of education was about awakening you to the right context, enlightenment. And the Hindu education system, the Gurukul, is more than a transmission of knowledge. Rather than mere transfer of knowledge.
Yes. So it is not based on generalization, where the dilution happens due to generalization. So whether others educate you or you educate yourself, if you plan everything based on the best of you, it is specialization. So the Gurukul ambience is for specialization and not for generalization.
Education means putting a set of ideas into your head and forcing you to conform to it, pressurizing you to memorize it and forcibly making you vomit it. In Gurukul, there is no education as such. Like this, there is only initiation. Initiation means empowering you with powers and letting you play with it, letting you manifest, specialize, letting you manifest your specialization, and letting you grow and glow.
Yes, so the purpose of education is manifesting good, beautiful, and best contributing citizen of the planet Earth and for humanity. So in Vedic tradition, examinations are not done by question and answer method, and that is Macaulay's method, which is clerk making, whereas in Vedic tradition, all the examinations are conducted by the thought current you carry. The person will be made to speak in the presence of Pandits who have mastered that thought current. So they will see whether he can spontaneously express that thought current. If the student is able to express the thought current cohesively, then he has mastered it.
Now, what is real education? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has explained to us.
Yes, if we are teaching the science of completion to our kids, we should be able to guarantee you can't get even one lie out of our Gurukul kids. That is what is education. Education is making you master a thought current, which becomes their lifestyle, which becomes the cognition style, which becomes their very being. So for hours, you cannot speak on a subject unless it has become your thought current, the way you cognize. So change of thought current, transformation of thought current is the success of education. Each Upanishad adds a thought current to you. So transformation of thought current is success.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continues that our Gurukuls are not teacher-centric. Our Gurukuls are education-centric. Please understand, our Gurukuls are not teacher-centric and they're education-centric. Students can invent something Guru doesn't know. The students have that freedom. And please understand, only the basic formulas are taught and basic tools to awaken knowledge is taught. Then the students are left free to explore on their own. Gurukuls are not with a set of rules or frame. They are only supported people to explore the highest possible creativity.
Yes. So Gurukuls are not like dams. So it is an embankment. So embankment is different and dam is different. So with a dam, you are dammed. So it is embankment and not dam. So that is why many of the Advaita Guru's disciples were Vishishta Advaitas or Advaitis. Or many of the Vishishta Advaiti Guru disciples were Advaitis. Means what? Only the basic analysis scales were given to you, but you are left to feel, analyze. So you're given spoon, not spoon-fed. You are not spoon-fed, you're only given the spoon.
that freedom, the freedom itself shows, otherwise you will be shocked actually that in Ramanuja's guru, Ramanuja is a very profound enlightened being from Sanatana Hindu Dharma, was even able to think in the language of Vashishta Advaita, shows the freedom available in Gurukul. So what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is explaining here is about how even if your guru has a certain thought trend or philosophy which they're specializing in, the guru's disciple need not specialize in the same philosophy or the same lifestyle and philosophy. At the same way, there are many Advaiti students who studied at the feet of Dvaitis and Vishishta Advaitis. So these are different philosophies in the Vedic tradition, philosophies or great sacred sentiments that have been elaborated in the sacred scriptures. And it is not necessary that the guru's disciple follow what the guru is teaching and practicing as their own lifestyle. In Sanatana Hindu Dharma, it gives only the tools to explore, but it does not put you in any frames, any restrictions or dams. If you read the Shanti mantra of the Sahasranama Bhavatu, it is education-centric, not teacher-centric. And unfortunately, in the modern day, because teachers have not taken the responsibility to become education-centric, the entire education system today in the modern day is teacher-centric. We can go on to the next slide. Yes, so this whole verse, if you read, may we both together be protected. Here, the teacher is also praying along with the student. And actually, it is because we are education-centric, we are able to explore and reach the new heights of seeking. The heights of seeking where even the Ishta Devata concept has come. Guru encourages disciples to travel, discover, reinvent, invent their own paths, their own methodologies, and he continues to encourage the disciples to explore on their own.
Yes. So with the principles of completion, the four tattvas of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching, as well as the truths of ahimsa or non-violence, and abhayam sarva bhutebhyo, the lessons of Nithyananda Gurukul, have played with these powerful cognitions and thought currents and have physically demonstrated the power of these truths by providing security to the rose plants in the garden of the Gurukul, resulting in rose plants dropping their thorns. So let us now listen to Bhagavan on the Hindu Gurukul system, the future of education.
Now it is time, as per the astrology, no theory can rule any human society which is imposed on that society more than 60 years. Now 60 years is over for the non-involvement narrative education system. I am telling you, future is Gurukul system. The future of education is where the teachers and students live together in one place. If needed, let the parents also stay there. But because basically kids do what you do, they won't do what you say. Understand? They do what you do. They won't do what you say. Whatever you do, simply they will do. They will never do what you say. Most of the time, they don't care for what you say. the future of the Indian education system, I can say the future of the any intelligent education system will be Gurukul system. I am not talking out of pride or arrogance. I am talking seeing the future. I am telling you, I will be leading this revival in the education system through our Gurukul system. Through our Gurukul system. It is going to be the Gurukuls. In Indian education system, complete involvement is required from the side of the teacher and the student. Student need to study the teacher. Teacher need to study the student. Understand? After thoroughly studying the student, teacher identifies the right subject in which the student will be successful. Few things are basic for everyone, like science of completion and enlightenment. Other than the science of enlightenment, all other things, master selects the subject in which the student will be successful. And then student is trained specifically in those fields with the knowledge of enlightenment, with the science of enlightenment, with the truth of enlightenment as the context. Even if you learn the archery, enlightenment is the context. If you study administration, enlightenment is the context. If you learn about business, enlightenment is the context. If you learn plumbing, building houses, sculpting, enlightenment is the context. Indian education system is more of a transmission of the knowledge, not transfer of knowledge. It is not just information based. Now it is time, as per the astrology, no theory can rule any human society which is imposed on that society more than 60 years. Now 60 years is over for the non-involvement narrative education system. I am telling you, future is Gurukul system. The future of education is where the teachers and students live together in one place. If needed, let the parents also stay there. But because basically kids do what you do, they won't do what you say. Understand? They do what you do. They won't do what you say. Whatever you do, simply they will do. They will never do what you say. Most of the time, they don't care for what you say. the future of the Indian education system, I can say the future of the any intelligent education system will be Gurukul system. I am not talking out of pride or arrogance. I am talking seeing the future. I am telling you, I will be leading this revival in the education system through our Gurukul system. Through our Gurukul system. It is going to be the Gurukuls. In Indian education system, complete involvement is required from the side of the teacher and the student. Student need to study the teacher. Teacher need to study the student. Understand? After thoroughly studying the student, teacher identifies the right subject in which the student will be successful. Few things are basic for everyone, like science of completion and enlightenment. Other than the science of enlightenment, all other things, master selects the subject in which the student will be successful. And then student is trained specifically in those fields with the knowledge of enlightenment, with the science of enlightenment, with the truth of enlightenment as the context. Even if you learn the archery, enlightenment is the context. If you study administration, enlightenment is the context. If you learn about business, enlightenment is the context. If you learn plumbing, building houses, sculpting, enlightenment is the context. Indian education system is more of a transmission of the knowledge, not transfer of knowledge. It is not just information based.
So now let us understand. Today, the education is known to be the key factor in enabling upwards socio and economic mobility and strongest means from removing poverty. The right education is crucial to well-being, stability, and growth for not only every child, but for the humanity as a whole. The Gurukul system is known to be the knowledge transition system of Hinduism and one of the pillars which kept Sanatana Hindu Dharma alive and standing as the world's most ancient living civilization. Through Kailasa's Department of Education, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the Gurukul system is being revived in its entirety. Gurukul is living in the Guru's home And the Gurukul system is rooted on the Guru Shishya Sampradaya, or the living lineage of Guru-disciple relationship. After decades of study on the physical, chemical, and biological uniqueness of meditative state and enlightened beings, it has been found that in the normal waking state alone, the brain waves show that there are complete meditative states despite being fully active and engaged. In the world's athletics, this state is known as being in the zone, a glimpse into the peak of focus and cognitive function, attention, coordination, to name a few. Rather than a glimpse, the enlightened beings are casually walking, talking, and engaging, settled in this peak. And recent studies have also found that we imbibe the body language, behaviors, and patterns of those in our environment, not just on the behavioral level, but just to the depth of the neurological layer. This is also known as the mirror neuron effect. In this way, there is no better teacher than the enlightened guru, who, as per modern science, exists as the superconscious, biological, reproducible anomaly. However, through centuries of Mughal invasions, colonialism, and continued persecution against the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, and Hinduism also Hindu tradition, the science of knowledge transmission has been diminishing at an unprecedented rate. After careful study in the colonialism area, it was found that the Gurukul system was standing as the backbone of the stability of the Hindu civilization, and the Macaulay education system was imposed on India after this revelation. In totality, during this Hindu Holocaust, we saw 13,000 universities across Bharat and 200,000 Gurukuls were destroyed in Bengal and Bihar alone. And with the systematic destruction of Hindu universities and Gurukuls goes also more than 80s of Hinduism's indigenous knowledge. And this is a quotation, an absolutely terrifying quotation from Thomas Macaulay, made on the 12th of October in 1836. This is from the British records of their imposition and their rule over India. Here, Macaulay is saying, our English schools are flourishing wonderfully. The effect of education on the Hindus is prodigious, and no Hindu who has received an English education ever continues to be sincerely attached to his religion. And I understand the strategy here. They want to disassociate Hindus from Hinduism itself. And he says the Hindu religion is so extravagantly absurd that it is impossible to teach a boy astronomy, geography, natural history without completely destroying the hold which that religion has on his mind. It is my firm belief that if our plans of education are followed up, there will not be a single idolater among the respectable classes in Bengal 30 years hence. And this will be effected without any efforts to proselytize, without the smallest interference with religious liberty, merely by the natural operation of knowledge and re-edification. I heartily rejoice in this prospect. So once again, this is an extremely abusive quotation by Thomas Macaulay on the strategy to entirely destroy Gurukuls. And we have seen the numbers of how many Gurukuls universities were destroyed. And now let us understand, in contrast, how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been reviving Kailasa's Nithyananda Gurukul, the grand revival of Hinduism's Gurukul and universities. On the 2nd of October 2006 was the official inauguration of Nithyananda Gurukul in Adi Kailasa in Bidadi, India. And we're here seeing the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with the first batch of Gurukul students. And in 2008, students of Nithyananda Gurukul here are practicing yoga and meditation under the sacred banyan tree. This is in Adi Kailasa also. We can see all the students of Gurukul who are doing the regular practice. 50% of Gurukul Balasants who are the child saints. Balasant means child saint in Sanskrit. And they study 1 to 3 years ahead of their age group, scoring in the top 20% of the Mensa at age 14. So this is 50% of the Gurukul kids, of the Gurukul Balasants who are initiated right now. And Gurukul Balasants are learning standard academics along with indigenous Hindu scriptures. The next slide, yes. Gurukul Balasants also are practicing here the Shivastamba Yoga under the guidance of trained Shivastamba Yoga Acharyas. And Gurukul Balasants are demonstrating the ability to perform Kundalini Raju, even blindfolded. So this is from the 20th of May, 2018. And also the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism here is personally teaching the science of Dhanur Vidya, the lost science of Vedic archery. % of Gurukul Balasants are demonstrating the capacity to spontaneously play instruments without formal training. And Gurukul Balasants live in the Agama Shastra based lifestyle as well. So as you can see here, doing puja every single day, yoga every single day, and following the ritualistic lifestyle is all a part of the Agama Shastra based lifestyle. Here we have Balasants of the Nithyananda Gurukul who demonstrate the ability to read blindfolded, which is a very astonishing feat. And Gurukul Balasants participate in Vakyartha Sadas as well. Vakyartha Sadas meaning the Hindu think tank on Hinduism, think tank. And also Balasants here are a part of the Nithyananda Raja Gurukul addressing Kailasian delegates in Tiruvannamalai, India. Balasants of Nithyananda Raja Gurukul, after successfully hosting the worldwide webinar on the highlights and science of the Nithyananda Gurukul. And here we have the impact of Gurukul presented in a graph. And then we see the effects of whole brain learning, stress-free living, and zero-teen violence or aggression, and quantum memory activation, recalling verbatim after a single hearing called Eka Santigrahi is in the Vedic age. So this is actually a very profound power, the power of Eka Santigraha, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself demonstrated as early as 3 years old, as was shared by his biological mother. And we also have the revival of Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University, the world's largest Hindu university established around the globe, with 450 plus campuses in 150 plus countries, available to the public from 2003 and onwards. Yes, and also Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University, reviving and presenting in the world's most ancient lost knowledge in a user-friendly way. Ancient truths taught in a way directly applicable for the modern man's personal, practical, and professional life. Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University, 12 million enrollments and counting, 7,000 plus courses which are available, and delegates teaching from 80 plus countries directly contributing to NHU. Yes.
Long rituals are not useless or unnecessary as a modern brainwashed Hindu thinks. Long rituals are the most powerful method, science, kriya, to awaken all the life energies. See, totally we have 21 life energies. I will describe all the 21 like a fundamental principal forces of life, like gravity, how all these are fundamental forces, principal forces externally. Internally, there are 21 life energies. Ability to visualize, ability to make decision. All these 21 is given to you, but you use them accidentally. That is why your life is full of accidents. Your marriage is accident, wealth is accident, life is accident, money is accident. Very less is planned, much is accident. And I tell you, I have seen people become thieves by not knowing the power of their life energy. I tell you, thief is the cheapest way to exist. I tell you. Because you do not know you own trillions. That is why you steal millions. If you know you own trillions, why will you steal? Listen, asteya, non-stealing, comes to a person who mastered his life energy. Each of my Gurukul kid is $1 trillion economy. I tell you, each of my Gurukul kid, the powers they can manifest. Understand, Gurukul is not a joke. It is a powerful science. Especially, see, normally, one child plus one child is a two child. But in the Gurukul ecosystem, one child plus one child is 11. 1, 1. Not 1 plus 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If there are 3 child, it is not 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. No. It is 1, 1, 1. 111. The energy multiplication. Because the ecosystem, understand, that is why Gurukul has to be with the ecosystem. I have always seen, whenever I download a power on one child, when the group sits, I can share that power on the whole group. Because when team of kids or balasans or sannyasis or brahmacharis, when they sit as one team, it is very easy for me to just like a lightning pour the energy on them. Understand? The Sankhya of life energy is different. The multi-dimensional logic of life energy is different. People cannot understand this Sankhya. The multiple life energies, awakening them to its peak and manifesting them is all about life.
Yes. So despite the relentless attacks against the life, character, and image of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, he goes on sincerely contributing everything he has for the world. And from the field of nutrition to education, from protection of religious freedom to the revival of indigenous traditions, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has sincerely contributed in every facet. This has not gone unnoticed by the world's dignitaries, leaders, and multi-faith diaspora. In fact, the revelations to the world by Devi Parashakti from the 12th of May 2021, Devi Parashakti says, came as Nijavatara. I am blessing you. Listen, people, listen. To do good to all of you. I have taken the form of Nithyananda and came down as Nijavatara. People of India, listen carefully. Time after time, Bharatam is Jnana Bhumi, where enlightened beings comes. We cannot make Jnana Bhumi as infertile. Enlightenment beings have to come. It's a very beautiful revelation given by Devi Parashakti. She says again, they'll have to live, it has to flower. Few hypocrites, because they are stuck in delusion, we cannot sacrifice the world. Cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save the cosmos from being destroyed, that is called Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect beings from Pralaya is Adi Kailasa. Because of the conspiracy of Drohis and enemies' rule, the captain had to leave the ship. Before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to happen, all Aushadas, by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam, Navapashana is going to flower. Allow people to come and take a dip in Navapashana flower. People, whoever comes and dips in that Vaidyasarovar, they will not have death. They will not have corona. Crores and crores of people will come in line, and every day they will come and dip in Anandalingam. Listen well to my words. For India, I made ship as protection, the Nithyananda Navapashana Lingam and Vaidyasarovar. Go to Adi Kailasa. O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing Nithyananda Nijavatara, without confusion and without taking just as lip service, go to Adi Kailasa. Scores of people will come there looking for your help. Navapashana water, feast, and medicine, to get health and protection and enlightenment, to protect India from the greatest destruction. I, Parashakti, made this huge ship, and even if the captain is not there, ship is there. Yes. When the first world countries closed their borders and schools during a massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened up its doors to all without exception. The free COVID care centers opened across India, in first primarily Adi Kailasa in Bidadi, Bengaluru, Salem Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Tiruvannamalai Adinam, Rajapalayam Adinam, Puduvai Adinam, in Pattanam Adinam, in Sirgapadi Adinam, Sripuram Adinam, in Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Avatipalam in Erode, Hosur Adinam, and Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. And Kailasa rushes to aid India as India finds itself on the verge of the COVID-19 third wave. And here we have multiple free COVID care centers opened across India, various social services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, and spiritual services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies, and cosmic revelations on the global pandemic. So the free social services offered during the pandemic thousands. Seems like we have a technical difficulty. We apologize to the viewers. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back with you.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Of all human beings, Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem.
I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you.
We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service, helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda
Nithyananda, welcome back, dear viewers. Now, as we have seen, what are the different places that the most compassionate avatar, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, has opened up for the entire humanity to save themselves. So all of us can see here, these are the free COVID care centers opened across India. Adi Kailasa in Bidadi, Bangalore, Salem Adhinam, Tamil Nadu, Thiruvannamalai Adhinam, Tamil Nadu, Rajapalayam Adhinam in Tamil Nadu, Puduvai Adhinam in Puducherry, Pattanam Adhinam in Tamil Nadu, Sirigapadi Adhinam in Tamil Nadu, Sripuram Adhinam in Hyderabad, Madurai Adhinam in Tamil Nadu, Avatipalayam, Erode, Tamil Nadu, Hosur Adhinam, Tamil Nadu, Baroda Adhinam, Gujarat. So
Kailasa rushes its aids to aid India as India finds itself on the verge of COVID-19 third wave. Multiple free COVID care centers opened across India. Various social services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India. Spiritual services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, and cosmic revelations on the global pandemic. So all these are the different efforts that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been taking as Kailasa rushes to aid India amidst this hour of dire need, where all the people, the different lives in India are just yearning for someone to save them. The free social services offered during this pandemic in the de facto embassies, de facto spiritual embassies across India include medical care. And you all know medical care that Swamiji is offering absolutely free of cost. Yes, amidst this time where really, literally the entire world is looking for something that is going to save them, where they feel like there's absolutely no other way out for this. People do not know, and especially when the hospital beds are becoming full and people do not have enough oxygen, people are not having access to medical services. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, out of his utmost unconditional compassion, he has been offering medical care completely free of cost. It is available as allopathy, Ayurvedic, naturopathy, Siddha, and spiritual healing, and even homeopathy. So in all these different ways, the medicine is available for free. And infrastructure to accommodate thousands completely free of cost. And accommodation, this is something very important, even if you pay millions, is something which is very difficult to get, which is accommodation for multi-layered quarantine. And even there is emergency ambulances, ICU on wheels, personal protective medical equipment, food security management through food banks, and organic farming. All these are happening absolutely free of cost.
To everybody who's watching this, if you want to take a step to protect your lives, take a step to experience the protective and preventive care. Sign up now to save yourself from the pandemic world, which is affecting each and every one. To all those that want to join, that want to experience a multi-layered quarantine, kailasa.org/Kailasa Care is a link for you to register. Kailasa is providing, through this multi-layered quarantine, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is extending various different opportunities to people, mainly focusing on giving a healthy, safe, happy ambience to be alive amidst this pandemic. And Kailasa's Department of Education is also providing academic as well as spiritual education for all the kids residing in Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham and virtually for a number of kids through the e-Gurukul program. With more than 1 billion kids not having access to education in the midst of this global pandemic, Kailasa has taken both the spiritual and academic responsibility to enrich and provide these services.
Again, you can join us. You can avail all these services completely free of cost. You can just sign up in kailasa.org/Kailasa. We have the spiritual routine, the yoga, Malakamba yoga, and all the spiritual practices offered absolutely free of cost for all the children physically that are coming. And it's actually something amazing because billions of kids right now, especially because of the pandemic, do not have access even to basic education.
Actually, we all can see here and in the pictures as well how the kids, like Mata Tupriya just sharing, even while the basic education is not being available and it is a problem, here the Raja Vidya Gurukul completely focuses on providing the kid the best of education, the best of spiritual education, focusing on the conscious growth and the blossoming of the child. Here we all can see how the kids perform authentic homas, rituals, and we experience the results of the rituals as an experiential understanding to each and every one of us, learning the Shastras, Vedas, and Agamas, performing these rituals exactly as it is prescribed in the Hindu scriptures. These are the glimpses of the Homa performed by the Balasins brought up in the Rajavidya Gurukul.
Actually, now due to this pandemic, so many people are experiencing, so many kids are experiencing the mental breakdown. That's why if you see the teenage suicide rate has peaked up. And people are going through a very tough time trying to cope up with studies, especially when given that it's online. There is no one to guide them for their values, for what principles they are supposed to stand for. And kids are finding, so children who are the hope for tomorrow are finding it very difficult to cope up with. But the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as not just a solution, but as giving like a breakthrough for this, not just giving the international GCSE syllabus as education for all the kids, but already for all the children, both consciously and giving them the empowerment, physical empowerment, spiritual empowerment, and conscious breakthrough, the super conscious breakthrough for all the children. All of us can see who in the world will get this kind of an ambience where we are able to be groomed as gods, literally in such an incubated space, and using this pralaya itself as a way to experience a super conscious breakthrough. Free Annadhan happening, best organic sattvic diet. And we all can see even the Rajavidya Gurukul that is happening. Even virtually kids are coming and studying.
So actually,
These are all the children of all the people who are joining us and who are quarantining, who are availing this service of multi-layered quarantine that Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is offering completely free of charge.
So actually, we did see the statistics of
How you can become a part of this right now by signing up in this link, kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. So this is something that really amazes me whenever I think of like people will have a vision, like there are so many people who do charity services, who do so that it's good to society. But what Swamiji is doing something much, much more, much beyond what so many NGOs are striving to do, and even beyond their imagination. That's what Swamiji is.
Actually, the word charity wouldn't do a justice to what the purpose of this is, because it's not a mere charity or a charitable activity, because Swamiji, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and as an avatar, has not just taken the spiritual responsibility for the conscious breakthrough of humanity, but in every level, socially, economically, in every level, Swamiji is extending various different steps, initiatives to give just with the only agenda to keep the humanity alive during this pandemic. Today, there might be many places that there are so many people, there are so many organizations that are working, to take one step to protect people during this pandemic, maybe by distributing masks, maybe by, converting their stay into a hospital to provide beds for people. There are many people, many organizations that are taking such steps. But if there's one place which is purely thriving, and flourishing and working tirelessly just with the only agenda to keep you alive, hale, and healthy during this pandemic time, it is the Adi Kailasa, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, by opening the door of Kailasa, by providing not just medical equipment, not just that, but one of the most scientific, as I should say, it's a clear science. The multi-layer quarantine is a clear science, a very scientific and a safe way to stay alive, to keep yourself alive during the pandemic.
Actually, that is why you see the recent news that had come up, where many of the leaders were saying that home quarantine is actually not possible in India due to a range of reasons, and all of us might be aware of the news. So what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing is something that is beyond our imagination itself. And seeing a lot of you who are joining us, Ma Bhaktivasya, yes, Nithyanandam, Ma Eva Anderson, Nithyanandam, Maitrik Patelaya, Nithyanandam, Naveen Nithyanandam, you're saying, I entered E-Kailasa. How to enroll? Once you enter the E-Kailasa, we also recommend you to stay tuned. Today we have a very, very powerful satsang, live Nithyananda satsang. Swamiji himself is going to be coming live, and he is going to be giving us all a very, very, very powerful message. So do not miss today's special Nithyananda satsang. And we have Ma Indra VK, Nithyanandam, Ma Nitya Dharmadarananda, Nithyanandam. Welcome to all of you. So I'm just reading out the comments from Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel. We request all of you do tune in and get ready as we are nearing to have the darshan, live darshan of the avatar, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. So amidst this global pandemic and going through the way whether you call it as a pralaya or you call it as this is a pandemic, or you're calling this literally people are calling this as the dark phase of their life, however you call it. But are you seeing what is actually happening outside versus what Swamiji is doing to humanity? How do you feel about it? Yes, Tony Lofton, Nithyanandam, Mom. Zmon, Nithyanandam. Yes, I know all of us. I'm seeing Zmon has actually put, can't wait to see Swamiji. Yes, all of us are excitedly waiting. Now, actually, all our live viewers, I request all of you, take a few minutes and share how do you feel right now? Billions of children do not have access to education. People are succumbed to social media and the spread of rumors and anxiety. The social media itself is creating a false anxiety in people. People are not sure about their future. People are very insecure. And putting the kids through this kind of an insecurity, while all they have is access to the social media, this is what they see and this is what they are getting. And the way their life itself is so, the current situation of the children, the suicide rates are increasing. This is what is happening on one side. While on the other hand, Swamiji is giving the best education of the outer world, completely free of charge. Best education of the inner world, completely free of charge, along with the most organic, sattvic, pure food, completely free. And of course, accommodation, the best multi-layered quarantine accommodation with free medical service, everything for free. How do you feel about these two? When you see these two, what is it that is happening inside you? Do take a few minutes and do share with us. You all can just comment in the YouTube comment section and share with us. How do you feel about this? When you see this difference, what is it that is occurring to you? And even if you want to add, like you have some real life occurrences where you see your own child behaving differently, or you see that she is going through some down at this time, her whole face is literally like going in a down just because of this whole pandemic and or being bullied in school, things like that. You can share all those things with us in the comment section of the YouTube chat. So go to Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube chat, and in the live chat, do share with us. Esma Paramashivoham Nithyanandam. So seeing, okay, all the people that are able to become a member of our YouTube channel, all of you will be able to comment.
To everybody that are actually watching this right now, this is the time each of us can take a few minutes to look in, analyze amidst this pandemic, this whole situation, and see what is the step that is needed the most. Actually, sometimes when even during the Devi Parashakti Akashik reading, when I see some of the comments, right, it genuinely takes me by surprise, because when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Devi Parashakti herself have clearly revealed that, the only agenda this year should be to keep yourself alive. And there's all these fungus spreading and so many infections, so many deaths that are happening. Still, unfortunately, there are some of us who still look for, maybe there are so many situations that might push us to, still continuing to be looking for travel, looking for starting a business, or looking for going somewhere. But what we all fail to wake up to is the reality of the pandemic that is completely creating a whole havoc. It's wreaking a havoc in the whole of humanity, where so many deaths are happening, so many, exactly as the Supreme Pontiff revealed, the dead bodies are floating in Ganga in hundreds in numbers. So it is all not even a far from reality that we are talking about, or some future, the possible future that we are talking about. No, it is a reality that is happening in front of our eyes, that's being brought forth to us. What can we do at this time? The only thing, the most important thing that we can do is to keep ourselves alive. To focus on only being alive, only staying alive first, to be able to take your next breath without having to go through the pandemic. That is what is important.
And we also saw how...
And for everybody that are watching this, if there's a step that you can take, the most important is to keep yourself alive. So each of you can go ahead and share with us in the comment section. How do you feel about this whole pandemic, the whole quarantine that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has opened up?
And Nithyanandam, Rimal, okay, Meenakshi, Muthiya, Rimal Vaskar, Ruchila Pant, Shiva, and Kailasa's Soumya, Debbie Schiller, Violet Sunora, Narala Bobby, and Beena Bulai, Anouch K. Lot of you who are joining. Rajesh, Suki, Govindan, welcome to all of you. Nithyanandam, and welcome to all of you. And P. Gill, Nithyanandam, Ima Eva Anderson, Nithyanandam, Zimon is saying, Swamiji said in the past that most important quality to be transmitted to the children is the confidence that they can learn everything online with sincerity, and that the modern education system is already redundant and only infusing anxiety and self-doubt in children.
Absolutely.
Actually, do you remember we even had this thing called Google Intelligence, where we are trained into researching. Actually, that's thank you, Zimon, for bringing this up. This is actually a very interesting topic, because the way how we learn in Gurukul is like
The Google confidence.
The Google confidence. It's Google confidence, how we learn is along with power manifestation and Google confidence, where we are not taught to only by heart things. That's not how we learn. Instead, let's say I take a book and I want to learn more about it. It's a new book that I get. And first, the topic, we just see the heading, and we see that heading and we take few keywords. We just put those keywords and start using the Krishna Shila, use the power of third eye, and see whatever we are able to see through a third eye on the Krishna Shila, whatever Paramashiva is revealing to us, we see in the Krishna Shila through a third eye, and we start writing that. And then we do not still open the book and read. We take these words, we take this concept that whatever we have gotten, and we go and we research on this topic. Actually, I was very surprised the moment we started learning like this. Even simple concepts like what you learn as velocity in physics, it has various dimensions how you can look at it once we started researching online. So we take the first from what Paramashiva is revealing, then what the world is revealing about it. So we take the world's thought currents and we analyze that. Then from that, we write our thesis, how we are understanding about it. So we start writing that. And once we write that, then we open the book and read the book. By the time we finish these steps, when we open the book will feel so redundant. See, what is happening? The book is written maximum by 1 or 2 authors at a time. So it is their logic that they are trying to force inside us. That's the only reason why many kids, they will feel so stressed, even just by reading, even if they're not spending so much time, even just by reading. Only if that concept has to go in. But when you see what the world is talking about, there will be people expressing their opinions in a different way. And you will learn in different and that how to research, all those are trained. Like they tell you, you can go to they suggest the sites that you can visit and learn, or you can see how to learn based on the debates that are happening in that topic, etc. So by the end of the session, you are already a master of that concept. So when you look at the book, it just feels so redundant. So it's not that you're forcing that logic inside you. Instead, with your intelligence, you're grasping the subject.
Actually, this is a very, very, very powerful method, because today, half and more of the kids right now that are going through the education, one big thing that they all face is they feel overwhelmed. They feel like so stressed with the amount of the thought currents in that book, majority of the times which are outdated, which are not really relevant to us. And that is just being forced upon us. But learning through Google confidence, by the time you go through and chew the other thought currents, the book will seem so small. It will just be one person's thought current being put into you. So that's one of the best ways, one of the profound ways that we get to learn. And yes, actually, there's so much, a ton and more that we can keep discussing. But now, and having
actually, like anyone has any other questions or anything, you can interact with us in the YouTube or Facebook chat, and make sure you're taking a few minutes to share this so that nobody misses out on this amazing blessing that all of us have, where we are going to be having the darshan of Avatar starting in just a few more minutes. You can either post the comments either on Facebook, on Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam Facebook page, or on YouTube, Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel. And welcome Krishna Yadav, Sakalananda, Rajesh, Suki, Govindam, Nithyanandam, to all of you who are joining us live continuously. And a lot of you are watching, and hope what we shared about how we study in Gurukul was interesting for you. So how do you feel about this method? Where first you learn what the world is. First you actually see the concept. You don't go through the book. You don't do anything. You just see the keywords that are usually highlighted in bold. So you just take that. You go, you see in third eye, you write down what Paramashiva is reading. Then you take that, then you go research online and learn what the world is talking about. Then you take all those concepts in, and then you write your understanding. Then you open the book and then you read it. So what the end of the day, like the whole thing, you become a master of it. How do you feel about it? Do write to us in the comment section, because of course we are really excited to share about this with you. Now, before we continue further, let's take a short break, and then we are having a very exciting session that's coming up, and a very powerful session that is coming up. So do not miss it. Stay tuned, and let's take a short break now.
Sorry for the technical glitch. Sorry for the technical glitch. Seems like there's a small error. We are getting some comments from the viewers. Yes. And meanwhile, as we are all awaiting for the Nithyananda Satsang that is starting live at 10 p.m. IST, as we are all awaiting the exciting live Nithyananda Satsang, each and every viewer that are watching us right now, please take a few moments to share with your friends, your near and dear ones, your loved ones, to invite all of them for the Nithyananda Satsang live, so they all can enjoy, they all can relish, and they all can grasp the superconscious thought currents and empower themselves to be able to handle and tackle the pandemic and all of its effects and impacts. So you all can take a few minutes. Please go ahead and leave comments in the comment section. We have some of the viewers who had commented in between their losses, so we just like repeat it. So then,
okay, Ma Prabjot Giri is saying you guys are so full of it. Thank you, Ma. You can write to us about the education system. How was it inspiring you? And yes, Jambulingam Shanmugam has shared what they call modern education. It is like fast food. Our ancient civilization, ancient knowledge, civilization, traditional civilization, lifestyle of Gurukul is transformation. Cosmic archives and Paramashiva science to Guru Sishya Parampara, the incarnation, Rama and Krishna, they study in Gurukul only. Such a beautiful
absolutely,
point.
yeah.
Actually, when you say about this, I remember once Swamiji was quoting, I actually never perceived it like that, like cognize it like that till Swamiji had shared so. Swamiji was explaining, if you see in Mahabharata, all the Pancha Pandavas and the Kauravas, the 100 Kauravas, all the 105 of them studied in the same Gurukul under Dronacharya only. But each of them excelled in their own dimensions. Bhima and Duryodhana excelled in mace, whereas Arjuna excelled in bow and arrow, whereas Yudhishthira excelled in spear. Each of them excelled in different dimensions, even though all of them studied in the Gurukul only. Now, and that time it was Dronacharya. Now we have an avatar himself who has come down. So it will not just be like a breakthrough in the level of skills, but what Swamiji is making us do is having a super conscious breakthrough. So literally as new species, Swamiji is evolving each of the palaces. Giving this absolutely free of cost to humanity is something just unfathomable. Meena B has also joined. Yes, Nithyanandam. Welcome to all those who are joining us continuously. You all can keep commenting and sharing with us. How do you view this? What are your views? How are you understanding what we are sharing? So it's really it'll be really exciting to keep interacting with you and knowing more about how you are understanding this. Even on Twitter, you can interact with us using the hashtag Nithyananda. Make sure you are sharing this YouTube link and to all your friends and families and even the people whom you don't know, because you never know, especially the earthquake that are happening, the hurricanes that are happening, or so many tough things that people are going through. And people are going through really hard times right now. So many lives are in dire need of song. So do not miss out. Even if you think it's just one click, what is going to happen? No, you never know. Just like how you stumbled upon some video of Swamiji, and today you are here benefiting from him, receiving his blessings, and just having your entire life transformed. So many people are there like that who are waiting for this. So your one click, you might be just doing one click and sharing with the people, but their lives are going to be transformed in an unimaginable way. So do not hesitate. Go ahead and share. You can also post in the comments which country you are coming from. So we'll also be able to see who all we have and which country you are coming from.
Yes, and also, as we had been discussing,
Sorry for the
Apologies,
technical.
glitch. Hope all of you can hear us now. Yes. I'm seeing a lot more comments that are flooding in. It's really actually very exciting to see so many comments, so many of you participating, and that's really nice.
And actually, it's amazing moreover, it's amazing to see how many of us are now waking up to the reality, right from this whole time phase of the pandemic, even the pre-pandemic, the very recent past. Many of us are becoming more aware of, changing our lifestyle into, becoming vegan, healthy, even having shifts in education. Many of us, like Swamiji had told in one of the satsangs, that world will be consumed so much by tiredness and boredom that will push people to wake up, to look for something different. And that time is where people will turn to look in, to look for a conscious breakthrough. And I feel that is what is happening.
Okay, so we have a lot more people commenting. Zimon is saying she's from Germany. That's wonderful. Great to have you, Nithyanandam. Welcome. And Prabjot Gill is sharing. I actually didn't know how to read until I got to high school. Not much focus was given. Even in high school, when they finally learned that I was having troubles and they had to assess me, didn't do much except for put some kind of books in front of me. But overall experience could have been better there. Was a lot of mental struggles and other events were happening in my life. But now I met Swamiji. I hope if I ever have to study again or do anything in a school, let it be for Swamiji. So beautiful, Ma. She should sing, let it be in Swamiji's Gurukul, because nowhere else in the world you'll get something like that.
Actually, Swamiji told, if I have to come down again, I will be born as a Balasant in Nithyananda Gurukul. Because Gurukul is providing a golden childhood to the children. Because right now, anywhere, you are put into a mold. And it is like, an elephant, a giraffe, an ant, a fish, a monkey, all of them are given the same exam of climbing a tree. And just because a monkey only can do it, an elephant being labeled as a failure doesn't make sense, because its strength is not being discovered. Nithyananda Gurukul is where each individual becomes a peerless specialist in his excelling and pioneering in his abilities, capabilities to discover the multifarious possibilities that exist in us. And the best part is all of us are given exposure to every dimension. We are taught to dress up the deities, alankar, rituals, yoga, puja, website building, some excelling in the, even in the software in terms of, learning social media, or how we learn research and study science, and how we can travel if we love that, and how be it conducting courses, developing courses, organizing programs, managing events. There is so many things like these. And how each of us are given exposure to all of these. We are taught about how to build temples, how to learn agamas, how to study Sanskrit, how to conduct courses. Each of us are given exposure into these. So what then happens is all of us learn and we blossom in each and every dimension. Most importantly, what is prioritized is our conscious growth. What is prioritized is our conscious understanding, the superconscious breakthrough.
Actually, we have a meme that I just pulled out. All of us can see. This is the meme where whenever I remember modern education, this is the meme I would remember, because this is how exactly the modern education is. All the animals are lined up, elephant or a monkey, a penguin and a fish and a goat, like all of them are lined up. And the examiner says, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb the tree.
This is exactly summing up modern education for us.
Come on, just because the examiner is saying this, elephant cannot feel that it is powerless. But that is what is happening today. All the children feel powerless about themselves. Why? Because the same thing, there's only one standard. That's just one. Everybody needs to fit into that mold. If you don't fit, you're useless. That's why if you see there are many jokes and memes around, and even a lot of stories, biographies that say I was a college dropout. That's why I'm successful.
Absolutely, because the whole education today in the modern world is just working on making you a clerk, making you fit into a mold, fit into the same size shoes and hats as everybody else, which is naturally not possible. So, why are we talking about education and giving priority to this in this pandemic times? In Kailasa's protective and preventive care, the whole quarantine, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also extended the authentic Vedic Gurukul, the Nithyananda Gurukul, to provide that child. See, because it is in this pandemic time that people are reshaping themselves. People are waking up. There are so many people who are, in the fear. Am I going to get admission into the school, or am I going to be able to study? 1 year, there's a whole gap year. How am I going to be able to catch up? There's so much that people put themselves through. There's so much that people are going through, and this is the time many of them are taking a pause, taking a breather to see, okay, let's see what is happening. What is all this? Let me sort my life out. At least this time, let us all sort out in the intelligent way. Sort it out in the most practical, most intelligent, the most efficient way.
Actually, we have a lot more people who have joined us. And Tirumalai Selvi, Nithyanandam, Kailasas, Piotr Varsha, Nithyanandam, Pankaj Shrestha, Nithyanandam, Alicia Morrissey, Ma Shweta, Nithyanandam to all of you. Shravanti Narasammal is sharing. Wow, true education gives us insight. Absolutely, Ma. Actually, the true education is what is really needed. Only then, only with the true education, you can actually reshape the future. Amma, Meena sharing, Amma, yep, you guys are doing a great, super wonderful pre-satsang educational for everyone. Thanks to Swamiji and the Sangha. Actually, all these are revelations by Swamiji Ma. And today, what satsang we are going to be having is going to be really, really powerful. Swamiji has been talking about how to have the conscious sovereignty inside all of us, how to reclaim the conscious sovereignty. But unfortunately, the education system outside is only training the children to lose their conscious sovereignty and to be fitting them into a particular mold as per how the society expects. And unfortunately, that's just one mold, and everybody are forced to fit into that. If they don't fit into that, they're outcast. They don't belong to it. They are kept away, they're discriminated, or they are put down. So that is what is actually happening in today's world. Lot of you who are joining, yes, welcome to all of you.
Yes, we are having many of you commenting. We are just looking at the comments that are flooding in. Now, what is a step that we can take to each and every one of you that are watching this? If you are in India, if you are in the Southeast Asian zones, and if you are facing the pandemic, please understand the step that you can take to protect, to prevent yourself from facing the whole pandemic is to stay in the multi-layered quarantine. So you all can sign up at the link kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Please take a few minutes to sign up. You all can take a few minutes to sign up at kailasa.org/Kailasa Care.
If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment time. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are. Because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems.
I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you.
make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity. Withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment time. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. is absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all of the viewers. I am 100% sure that each and every one of you are eagerly awaiting the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and awaiting the divine discourse and the audience of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as we will be imbibing the powerful cognitions as he continues to expand on what was revealed just day before yesterday on conscious sovereignty. It was such profound truth and ultimately leads us back to understanding and deeply cognizing why we are Hindu, why each and every one of us identify as Hindu, why we've taken that up as a lifestyle. And when we fundamentally address this, when we address the conscious sovereignty, we are able to express deeper and deeper truths. And when we're doing the Vakyartha Sadas, and how we have been literally the conscious sovereignty is stolen from us as a Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declared, and he had revealed just the day before yesterday on these extremely profound truths. When we deeply do the Vakyartha Sadas, we start to live the Hindu lifestyle more authentically, and ultimately the benefit is 10,000 times and multifold as well. Now, we'll now be entering into the segment on the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And for the past few days, we have been presenting on a very, very powerful and important topic that has not come out to the world yet about the assassination attempts against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And over the last 2 decades, we've literally seen a campaign of state-sponsored assassination attempts against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In 2010, in 2012, in 2014, and so many in between, until it came to the point where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism needed to actually leave India, and we were ultimately not even able to physically be in the presence of our Guru. And as even Devi Parashakti revealed, the captain was driven out of the ship. Even though he had built such amazing and revived the ancient Hindu kingdoms, and he had built the Adhinam, the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapitam, where so many today are finding relief and are finding so much of reprieve from the ongoing pandemic just through the Kailasa COVID care multi-layer quarantine that Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapitam is organizing. Even though the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is ensuring that Kailasa continues to contribute, still he has made the ultimate sacrifice of everything in order for us to be protected and Kailasa to continue. The anti-Hindu militant forces have continuously been strategizing on how they can vilify, demonize, and ultimately assassinate the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in a series of steps, in a series of strategic, planned ways to execute what they wanted. And what they wanted was to continue to oppress the Hindu civilization, to continue to loot the Hindu civilization, the Hindu temples, the Hindu heritage from each and every one of us, and to stamp out entirely the Hindu customs, traditions, and the Hindu culture. And we saw how in the last segment, we saw how step by step the anti-Hindu militant forces had been going against and had been literally ensuring that these assassination attempts are successful, not only successful, but justified by the media mafia and to the international audience. If a report goes out that this many Hindu leaders are dying, or this many Hindu leaders are under illegal judicial custody, then there is a media campaign of demonization against the Hindu leaders that they had plotted and that they had conspired to put against the Hindu leaders. And in so many ways, this has stopped the Hindu community, the Hindu diaspora globally from having the justice of at least being able to tell our story to the world, being able to seek help in other resources, at least in the international audience. But due to the series of media demonizational campaigns against Hindu leaders and against the Hindus, and so many different systemized attacks against Hinduism, until now, we have not been able to have even one voice about the Hindu Holocaust in the world. There's not even one textbook, there's not even a narrative out there that speaks about the Hindu Holocaust and what ultimately the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is going through to revive Kailasa. But due to his hard work and him, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, going to all extents to ensure that the Hindu Holocaust is told to the world, and his hard work, sincere efforts to go and revive Kailasa, bring legitimacy to Kailasa and its mission. Is finally, the United Nations has recognized the persecution against Hindus and women of Kailasa, in each and every one of us, finally had some sort of reprieve for the violence that is ongoing against us. And we've seen how arrests against of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the illegal arrest against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has been a systemized attack, meaning that anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces had planned and conspired prior to the attack in order to execute their ultimate goal. Now, the steps are very clear. One is media demonization, meaning the demonization of the Hindu leaders and the Hindu people, the Hindu sannyasis, the Hindu sampradayas, and all the members of the Hindu sampradayas, and vilifying them in the media. We saw this in so many different examples over the last segments in this series about the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, about how the media had literally criminalized and demonized the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with absolutely false lies, fabricated lies against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and making such obscene false statements, and literally throwing out to the garbage cans any amount of ethical journalism. And in the way that they did this, literally spreading so many lies, making up and planting the evidence that they were then broadcasting in the media as legitimate, and using the entire situation, twisting the entire situation and manipulating, even such that the victims of the entire attack were arrested and illegally arrested, were confined and unable to even seek justice. And in this way, when the media had demonized Hindu leaders, after that, the next step that the anti-Hindu militant forces do is to execute mob violence with authorities in being complacent to this mob violence. One example that I can say is the Palghar incident that happened last year that devastated Hindus across the world, and how the police were entirely complacent to the murders of 2 Hindu sadhus by a mob. The third step that the anti-Hindu militant forces do is ensure that there's no legal recourse. And by executing a staged mob against the Hindu sannyasis, they ensure that there's no one who can be held accountable for the actions of violence against Hindu sannyasis. Finally, again, what the anti-Hindu militant forces do is use the strategy of media demonization after the incidents of mob violence against them, and after even the mob has lynched the Hindu sannyasis, to pose as if, to manipulate the entire story as if out of hatred, public hatred, they had killed and brutally assaulted a thief or a person who is less than even human being. They do this process of dehumanization in the media, literally demonizing, vilifying good people, the victims of the entire story, in order to further justify subsequent attacks and assassination attempts against Hindus and Hindu leaders. We've seen this in so many different cases. And against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism specifically, again and again, the same strategy being used. And unfortunately, what was most devastating for especially all of us Kailasians across the world is how we have seen how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was treated, abused in the hands of the mob and in the hands of so many violent people who were staged to be put there and to execute violence against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now, today, in the next segment, we'll be seeing and understanding the arrest of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the attacks against the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnya Peetham and Kailasa, subsequently following the arrest in 2012. Some of the footage, the pictures and evidence that we have of the vile and dehumanizing treatment Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and all the men, women, and children of Kailasa is extremely brutal, terrifying, and horrifying. And today, we also have Manitya Bhaktikananda Swami, who will be helping us understand what exactly happened in the attacks in 2012 and how the anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces had used these 4 stages: media demonization, mob violence with authority-clicity and no legal recourse, and then the 4th stage, media demonization again, how this strategy is used against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and ultimately Hinduism in its entirety. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the sole Hindu leader who has fought and brought to the international audience out of his intense, pure, hard work, the persecution against Hindus worldwide, and giving us platform, at least, to voice out what has been happening against Hindus. And today we will be seeing and understanding what happened exactly in 2012 against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the men, women, and children of Kailasa in a series of absolutely unprecedented and violent attacks and methods of oppression against all Kailasians and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. We'll be continuing on with this segment. I hope that you stay tuned and take a few minutes to share the link in the scroll below, as we are eagerly awaiting the presence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. Please take a few minutes to share the link in the scroll below of the report, which is displayed on the Human Rights Commission website for the United Nations, and where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been able to give each and every one of us Kailasians a voice and a platform to speak out about the crimes and violence done against Hindus. So we'll be right back with you in a few minutes. Please take a few minutes right now and share with as many people as possible about the UN recognition of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the persecution against it.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham.
Nithyanandam, dear viewers, while we are about to witness yet another live appearance from our beloved Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, we are going to see once again an unfortunate series of attacks that happened in the year 2012, about which many of you may be aware and many of you may be hearing for the first time. It is very important to again and again bring to the awareness of the innocent public the history of persecution against Hinduism, Hindu gurus, Hindu incarnations, Hindu sannyasis, and anyone who's putting the effort to revive the greater science of Hinduism, the science of living enlightenment, which is there from time immemorial to enlighten every being on this planet and elevate every being to the next level of existence, to the next level of consciousness. So therefore, Hinduism is not a religion, but Hinduism is the science of living enlightenment. And when human beings become empowered by this science, they start living very powerfully above and beyond the normal mundane clutches of the existing socio-economic political forces, which therefore becomes intolerable and a danger to the vested interest powers that desire to keep the people under control for their own vested interests and agenda. So therefore, the attack on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is huge, unprecedented, And for the very reasons I just stated. For decades, the persecution has been going on. And what we're going to see today is the attack that happened in the year 2012. Like I said, many of you may be aware of it, but the more and more we listen to it and the deeper we dwell upon it, the possibility of the awakening happening in each, not just Hindu, each individual seeking to achieve the purpose of his or her life will happen. The awakening is very important to meet the purpose of each of our life, which is enlightenment. And unless we understand how these attacks are engineered, how these attacks are strategized, how the lies are spread about incarnations and Hindu saints who are trying to revive this greater science of Hinduism after hundreds of years, unless we understand this deeper and deeper, because it is so finely layered with multiple levels of strategy, cunningness, lies, and told in a way that we would not even in our wildest dreams imagine that it is a lie. So unless we understand it to its very depth, we will not awaken to the deep conspiracy behind this, which is actually against each one of us, each one of you. Which is why repeatedly these attacks are being brought to your attention in its detail, so that we will wake up and be rid of the brainwashing that has happened over the years. From one side, the media mafia, and the other side, the Western interest forces. It is each one of you out there who's being robbed of your birthright, which is living enlightenment, which is the greater science of Hinduism. That is why it is important for each one of you, beyond religion, gender, race, culture, nationality, to wake up and take note of what has been happening and what is going on, especially in the context who is, as you all know, the single voice of Hinduism today that is fighting to reinstate and revive this greater science, and that has withstood decades of persecution. Just by understanding the persecution against him, you will wake up to your own life and achieve not just your outer world materialistic dreams, but you will achieve what you're not even aware of, which is the very purpose of you taking birth as human beings, the purpose which is living enlightenment, which is experiencing oneness with the cosmos, which is living as a power manifester, as Paramashiva himself. Today, we are all facing so many struggles in our life, which we don't need to face. The single solution to all our individual problems and the global problems is because of loss of the science of living enlightenment. And these incarnations, Paramashiva comes down as the incarnation again and again and again. And all the incarnations who have come, their only agenda is to reinstate the science and give you back your birthright, which is living enlightenment. Today, we're going to see the multi-pronged series of attacks that happened in the year 2012. As you all know, in the year 2010, the attack was direct on the physical body, the life of Swamiji, Bhagwan, supreme of Hinduism. And he escaped very narrowly. And every year after that, the attack was only stepped up. The attack was stepped up, and it came to a point where in the year 2018, he had to take the decision that if he has to complete the avataric mission for which he landed on the planet, then protecting mortal frame, his own body, becomes the foremost issue. And therefore, as the attack started stepping up progressively, in the year 2018, he was forced to take the decision to withdraw from humanity and stay away and continue the services. That is the greatness of the incarnations and saints, because they don't know the zone of violence, pushbacks, and revenge or vengeance. They only know to fulfill the purpose for which they came, the goodness for which they came. And therefore, they bear the brunt of the mass ignorance, the mass violence, the mass vengeance, and the mass attack on their own body, and yet they continue to serve. If we just dwell upon their life, whether it is their life in terms of their contribution against the persecution, or it is their life on the face of the persecution, if we just dwell upon it, we will understand the genuineness, the sincerity, the undoubted intention, genuine intention of them, which is to enlighten humanity and nothing else but that. We are so used to normal human beings who operate out of normal vengeance and revenge. Therefore, we know not that such beings can exist, who can take so much of enmity from us and still intend to give back only the goodness for which happened on the planet Earth. It is not known to us, and therefore we do not believe it. Therefore we vilify it. Therefore we spread lies about it. Today we're going to see the series of the attacks in the year 2012. So this started around the 7th of June, to be precise. I'm saying around because the direct live attack on Swamiji happened on 7th of June, and the build-up towards it was in terms of a series of interviews given, or rather planned, strategized, and given by the false rape accuser, an NRI woman by name Rati Rao. She, along with the Suvarna television and a group of conspirators, planned and executed a series of false interviews in the Suvarna television, which is the mainstream national channel. And in the series of interviews, once again, through the media mafia, the group spread the lies to the innocent public, which is you, who unknowingly consume it, because your only source of information, unfortunately, is the media mafia. Although the social media is catching up in a big way, and it is a huge savior to each one of you out there, because it is finally giving a platform to people who come and express the truth, who have an equal platform today with the mainstream media to express the truth. So therefore, while the series of interviews was being aired by the false rape accuser in collaboration with Suvarna television, she was actually under force to do it to protect her false case against Swamiji, because it was a huge, rude surprise to her that while she had charged Swamiji, our beloved Bhagavan, on one side, of raping her 40, 50, 60 to 100 times, on the other side, she did not know that through the very judicial system, her own medical records were finally procured from the Michigan hospitals, and it revealed that she was a carrier of 4 STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. And her own medical records reveal that there is no way that she can have even one sexual relationship with a person and not spread the disease to the person. And here she has claimed 40, 50, 60, 100 instances of rape, and Swamiji's medical records are a clean till date. He has never been, never is a carrier of any such disease. And therefore, this was a clinching evidence that we had got, which was very important to be conveyed to the people, because just on the basis of this clinching evidence, the false rape charges against Swamiji could be dropped. And therefore, the press conference was called. You are seeing now in front of you the press conference that was convened to convey to each one of you out there actually about the clinching evidence that was got. But what happened when the press conference was convened was a huge, rude surprise to us. This individual you're seeing here is Ajit Hanuma Kanavar, who is one of the so-called reporters of Suvarna television. And he landed up with his henchmen on this press conference, carrying a cover with him, which we later discovered was an anthrax bomb package designed to destroy the life of Swamiji. the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And very innocently, we were continuing with the press conference, not knowing that this huge mafia group was seated inside the hall, and that too in the front rows, ready to execute their plan of assassination just a few minutes after the press conference started. So the scene that is actually meeting your eye is Ajit Hanumakkanavar, who stepped up a few minutes after the conference started and started advancing towards Swamiji with the package in his hand. And started accusing Swamiji falsely that he was evading a certain foreign summon and that he was there to deliver the summon, a reporter delivering a court summon, mind you. No end to the extent of the multi-pronged attack, the way it started. Therefore, when we suddenly woke up to what was going on, we rushed to him and stopped him from advancing towards Swamiji with the package in his hands. And we were requesting him to move out of the hall. But immediately his henchmen sprung into action and they started erupting with violence against not just the men, but against the women, sannyasis, and the female devotees who were present in the hall. After an hour almost of struggle, finally we managed to get Ajit to even move out of the hall. And by then it was all hell let loose inside the press conference hall, and we had to rush the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism once again to safety. It was a rude shock to us. We just didn't know what was going on and what had landed on our heads one more time. And we finally managed to move him out of the hall, and we were frantically trying to contact the police on one side after enough damage had happened to person and property, and violation had happened to the female sannyasis in ways I need not even explain to you. You're seeing visuals in front of you where the female and male sannyasis are being manhandled by multiple people at the same time near the gates of Adi Kailasa, the headquarters in Bengaluru. After this entire scene, you can see here, our female sannyasi is being manhandled by 5 of these mafia people at the same time, the Karnataka Navaninmana Sene mafia that landed up. And you can see the stones being hurled at the gate. So while Ajit was, and you can see here in front of you, the then administrator, one of the administrators, was actually, his head was smashed by a huge boulder by 4 to 5 people at a time. And he was not even allowed to rush to the hospital. They stopped the car. Somehow we managed to reach him to the hospital. And here you are seeing him post-surgery. They administered 33 sutures on his head. You can see him bloodshot on one side, completely smeared with his own blood. And on the other side, he's giving his first sharing after having undergone the surgery. His entire face and forehead and head is swollen. And it was just one of the most gory. Actually, I was right at the gate at that time. If the NTV operator can just rewind the scenes a bit, you'll be able to see. I was there right at the gate, and it was the most horrifying scene. Even in horror movies, you can see me there. Even in horror movies, I've not seen such a scene where just brutally 5 people smashing a huge boulder stone on the skull of another person and just running away, jumping over the gate and allowing him to die there and not even allowing him to reach the hospital. Actually, at least after they smashed his skull, I mean, one would imagine that they would just back off. But they actually went ahead further and didn't even allow us to take him to the hospital. These are the kind of attacks faced by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. You can see me there in the background. These are the kind of attacks faced by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism time and again. He and the sannyasis and the devotees who are standing to revive and re-establish this greater science of Hinduism. You can see here the bruises, the wounds, the life attacks sustained by the devotees and sannyasis. And while this happened on the 7th of June, from the morning until the evening, and it was actually live telecasted, they came with the live telecast van. They came with what you call the OB van, which is a live telecast van, in the evening when this entire attack was executed. And they were airing it live, and the running commentary was that the Adi Kailasa headquarters and the people there are brewing trouble, and they are fighting, and they're creating violence, and they're disrupting the peace of the place. We were just completely powerless on the face of the attack, because on the one side, we were the victims, we were attacked, we were almost killed, and Swamiji was almost assassinated, and we had to rush him to safety, and our property was destroyed. But here we were being portrayed as creating violence. What you're now seeing in front of you is the press conference that happened on the next day, which is the 8th of June 2012. I request the NTV operator to stop a bit. So we had to explain to the public what exactly happened the previous day on the 7th, and how they had converted the press conference into a war field, into an attack field. So therefore, we convened the second press conference to explain to the people the attack that happened on the previous day. And here, what is meeting your eye is the second press conference on the 8th. You can see me. I'm the first sannyasi from the left-hand side. Yes, that's me, the first sannyasi on the left-hand side. And on this second day also, just minutes after we started the press conference, again, the same Karnataka Navanirmana Sene, but this time, today, that is on the 8th of June, under heavy disguise, so we didn't even know they were from that organization. They were once again seated inside the hall without our knowledge, and they sprung up and started creating violence and attacking us yet again. You're seeing the violence and attack in front of your eyes. And they started violating the female sannyasis. You can see here in front of your eyes. It was an unsparing, ruthless, brutal attacks where they were picking up the chairs, the metal dividers, the metal chains that were used as dividers, and just beating and breaking persons and property. Here you can see the aggression and the brutality of the attack. You can see him straight away manhandling our sannyasi, Manitya Achalananda Swami. You can see again here. And all along, there was no protection for us. We were frantically trying to call the police, and the attack just continued ruthlessly, and we just didn't know how to end it or how to push the attackers back, because they were just too many in number and too aggressive, because their business is violence and our business is non-violence. So therefore, it was a hopeless match. And while we were again and again only employing the principles that we live by, which is non-violence, it was not working. We were just being attacked right, left, and center. And finally, after considerable damage had been done, as usual, the police came at the end of it all, and they took him away. They took the perpetrators of the crime away to the gates. And all along, the press was covering these very scenes of attack that was happening, but with their own vilifying headlines, where they made the whole thing out to be as though we were causing a fight, whereas we were victims of a huge attack. The choice of words for decades has been completely false and completely opposite to what exactly happens on the field. While it is always an attack from their side, the presentation by the media mafia has always been a fight between Nithyananda disciples and so, a fight between Nithyananda disciples and someone else. And where is the platform for us to go and tell the real story? Because by then, by the time we wake up from the attack, already on the one side, false cases are filed against us saying that we tried to kill them. And on the other side, the media mafia has done enough damage and spread false news all over the world. So by the time we wake up and we even want to give the first statement, the damage has been done and opinions have been formed, and we are made out to be once again some attacking cult all the time who are out to destroy the peace of the people. It is so, here you can see me somehow desperately trying to get across to the press persons who are willing to hold the camera to my face. I'm trying to tell them that, already the headlines out there are, we are attacking them. But the truth is they are using our desperate body language to map their false headlines and conveniently saying that we are attacking them. And I'm in fact telling the press people, if you are in a situation where in your own home, in your own drawing room, your folks were attacked by someone, would you be petting and pampering them and requesting them to move out? Won't you at least bring in some kind of a desperate body language and shout at them to move out, which is exactly what we were doing and the least that we could do. But the same thing was shown as though we were very aggressive and violent people, and as though we are all the time attacking, and as though we are out there just to cause trouble. So,
I would just like to highlight one point that as you are sharing that people need to know.
Yes.
So as you were sharing, the first day, the attack that happened, how the anthrax bomb was trying to be forced on the SPH, directly an assassination attempt. And on the second day, the same mob comes in disguise. They are groping and sexually assaulting women in front of the media. And the most important, what we all could see, where Ma Bhaktika Swami was actually sharing in the desperately screaming for help out in the camera, and we can see how the sexual assault, the men groping women, and they're all talking vulgarly in front of the women were live streamed in the media. And again, even at this point, the media showing the Adinavasis who are desperately begging for help in the bad light. And here we can see how the attackers are hurling stones and they are just bombarding into the campus, destroying properties, assaulting women, physically mob lynching the sannyasis, very desperate to reach the supreme pontiff of Hinduism and directly attack. We can clearly see how the mob is climbing over the gate.
What we can actually note here is that there are so many policemen who are standing there. There are so many policemen who are there waiting, and they are able to very clearly see that this mob is trying to get in, but they are getting in. They're not being stopped.
Good point, Ma. If you notice the pattern of attacks every time, the moment you see a uniformed policeman, automatically you think they are there as protection. They are there to control the whole scene and bring it to some kind of a law or dharma. But what the innocent people do not know is, or they're brainwashed to such an extent, they don't even know to look into the scene and watch that they're actually not doing anything. They don't even know to recognize that. For us, if you see a khaki uniform, that means he's doing a job, right, of protection. But we've been brainwashed over the years that we don't even know to look into the scene and see that they're not doing it. They're just standing and watching or pretending to ward off people in a way where they allow the mainstream attack to happen, but somewhere in the background, they are just doing some body language, mislead the people as though they are protecting.
Whereas in the light of what you are sharing, I'm right now seeing there's a clipping here that we are seeing. We actually saw these Adinavasis were the ones who were beaten up by the mob. But right now I am seeing they are being arrested. They are being taken by the police. So I'm not really able to grasp what exactly is.
Could you share with us what happened or how the victims are being arrested? You were there that day, and can you share with all of us and the viewers what was happening after being assaulted, after being sexually assaulted, groped, after being mob lynched by these rowdies and thugs? I am seeing the scene where the victims are being arrested. Could you share with us what was the scene and what happened there?
Actually, what you're seeing now is, Ma, each of us was actually escorted. You can see me actually entering the van just now. Each of us was escorted by a uniformed policewoman or policeman into a van. You can see all of us inside the van now.
Yes.
Actually, this is on the 8th of June. And in the morning, the second press conference had happened and the attack had happened. And we were just recovering from the attack when suddenly the policemen came and they asked us to just follow them. So actually, we were thinking that they are calling us to identify the perpetrators of the crime. So, Amma, we were so innocent and naive. We had no clue about the multi-pronged attack that was being executed right in front of our eyes. And we had no clue that this 2012 attack was actually going to lead to 2 illegal arrests of Swamiji once again.
My God.
So
Just to understand what exactly happened, so just wanted to explain to the viewers. So basically, all the Adinavasis who are actually being attacked, the victims who are being, like the whole mob lynching is happening, the men, the anti-Hindu elements, the militant forces are coming and sexually assaulting and groping the women, our female sannyasis, and
you can see in front of your eyes, Ma. Actually, our 2 sannyasis, you can see here, our 2 innocent sannyasis are trying to ask them, why are you pushing us around? Why are you manhandling us? What have we done? And they're silent, but the police are completely silencing them and telling them it's none of their business to ask any questions. And they're actually manhandling them and pushing them into the van and arresting them without their own knowledge.
This is something that needs to be highlighted here. The victims, people who have been beaten up, who have been sexually assaulted, who have been mob lynched, the victims are being arrested by the police, whereas the mob, the people who are attacking, they are not even being brought near the van. What is happening?
Actually, could you share with us, Ma, the details of what happened, how it happened, and the whole arrest? If you could share with us as being that personally.
So, like I told you, on the 8th morning, the second press conference, they had finished physically assaulting us and attacking us inside the press conference hall. And then we were just recovering from the attack when the police personnel came and asked us to follow them. And we thought we were going to identify the perpetrators of the crime. But then only later we realized when they pushed all of us inside a van that was waiting, we realized that probably we are being arrested, right? We had no idea. We were like, why are they taking up so many of us in the van to go and identify? Just one person will do. And then only after we actually landed in the police station, we understood that we were being arrested. I mean, if I think back, Ma, how naive we were, how innocent we were. We just had no idea that such things could even happen today. And
I mean, it's not about your innocence or being naive, because the police are expected to make sure that we are protected. At least that's what anyone who sees the scene of so many policemen in the uniform coming in and go, when they see that the Adinavasis, like the people who are in the campus, are being beaten up, sexually assaulted by the criminals, then we are suddenly seeing a huge battalion force of, like, all the policemen are just coming in. And all of a sudden, so everybody would expect that we are going to be protected. It's like the police have come to be protecting and to make sure that the people are safeguarded.
One more thing you need to know, Ma, how we got arrested was Ajit Hanuma Kanavar, who was the assassinator of the 7th of June, just the previous day. He actually came back into the campus with police bandobast, with police protection. He entered back in the campus on the 8th, and he identified 16 of us and for arresting. And because he had already gone to the police station the previous day and slapped a false case against Swamiji as accused one, and 16 of us, saying that we were causing a life threat on him, and for protecting his life, he's filing a case. We were
Actually,
just
this clipping is too painful to see, ma. As you're sharing this clipping where they're pushing Swamiji like this, it's extremely painful to even see this.
You should know exactly what is happening in this scene right now, what is meeting your eye now. Actually, ma, so the false case that Ajit Hanuma Kanabar went and slapped on Swamiji and on the 16 of us, that was the next step in the attack. So they arrested the 16 of us, and then they were all out behind Swamiji to arrest him, right? And by then, we had rushed Swamiji to safety because we knew it was coming because of the false case. And what happened was, the media mafia started spreading all lies about the previous 2 days' happenings, and then they started hooting to arrest Swamiji. And Swamiji, as always, abiding by the law, was coming to get his anticipatory bail. And then the next crime happened, which is his anticipatory bail hearing was actually for no reason adjourned and postponed to the next day. That was such a shocker to us, and it was a danger signal because then we didn't know what was in the offing for us. Why did they postpone the bail hearing? Even murderers get a bail today. It is their right to fight for their case. And here they have postponed the bail hearing of Swamiji. So what did they have up in their sleeve? And then what happened when the bail hearing got postponed? By then, they had created a huge mob outside the courtroom, right? So when Swamiji had to be brought out, because the bail hearing was postponed, there was huge mob lynching happening on Swamiji. With the police there who had organized for the mob lynching and who were just pretending to be around Swamiji. And they told us that so it is not safe for Swamiji to step out now because there's huge mob out there. And what they did without informing us, they arrested Swamiji and took him away, saying he is under protective custody, which is actually an illegal arrest, put in raw words. And you won't believe it, ma. I will never forget those 36 hours because those 36 hours, we did not know where Swamiji. Won't believe it, ma. I will never forget those 36 hours because those 36 hours, we did not know where Swamiji was and what they had done to his body and what they had possibly fed him with and what torture they had put him, because we had the experience in 2010 when he was 53 days in illegal imprisonment. There was attempt to poison him multiple times and he was physically tortured and he was tried to be psychologically tortured. They had got even tile cutting machines to run the whole night outside his room so that the frequency of noise would torture him on one side.
Actually, I just want to highlight that. Actually, according to human rights, if you just read the UN human rights, one of the violations is any tile cutting or marble cutting sound being exposed to a person. And if they're tortured by that, it is actually written law. I was actually quite shocked when I read it. When I was reading what all are like the against human rights, what are the actions that they do against human rights? I was shocked when I saw that because that's exactly like what you're telling now. They expose this continuous tile cutting sound next to Swamiji just to torture Swamiji. God, so
and also I would like to highlight another point. I would like to request the NTV operator to rewind a little bit back. We can see a newspaper clipping which says a battalion of 600 police were deployed for Swamiji. This is just, actually I would like to quote something here. Even for the worst of criminals, so many policemen are not required. Here, for one innocent, and if Swamiji is just continuously abiding by the law, and an innocent person just to demonize Swamiji in the public, creating not just the whole lawfare, but the way we can see how the police are manhandling Swamiji, pushing him,
pushing him into the van, pulling him and dragging him in front of the public eye just to demonize Swamiji in the public for a person who's been completely abiding by the laws. And first, for a person who's innocent. Second, abiding by the law just to create confusion in the public. This is a way of causing a programmed confusion where the viewers will get confused to see a battalion of 600 police just for one sannyasi, one man who's abiding by the laws. This was just another big tactic to demonize in the eyes of the public, to demonize the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism who was innocent, just to create a scene and just to create that kind of a confusion and panic amongst the disciples.
Just what you're sharing, just now the clipping to show. Swamiji is walking. Swamiji is walking like normally Swamiji is walking. From behind, someone is just pushing Swamiji. There is no need for all those. It's just extremely painful. I don't have words to describe this. I mean, it's total unjust, unfair.
And actually, Ma Bhaktika Swami, I can understand when you are telling what kind of a panic you all would have been through for those 36 hours of not knowing where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is, and not, first of all, being sure the way the lawfare happened, the way police are manhandling the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and the whole thing, it was pushed to such an extent where the disciples had to file habeas corpus in the panic. They were panic-stricken, they were grief-stricken, and they were desperate to know, just to get confirmation, just with the hope that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is alive, just to know that basic information. And you were there when the habeas corpus was filed. In fact, if you would like to share more about how that part happened, where you all were panicking, how the whole arrest of the Supreme Pontiff had happened, how his life was at threat, how he was manhandled, how the mob, there was so much of continuously mob attacking, media violence, and police themselves were manhandling. Would you like to share what was the situation for all the disciples and all the devotees who were panicked and who were searching for the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism?
Definitely, Ma. So, like I said, they took Swamiji away. They took him away to an undisclosed location, and 36 hours was a nightmare for us. We were just on the streets, not knowing where they had kept him, what had come to his body. We just had no clue. And the next day was supposed to be the anticipatory bail hearing, which had got illegally adjourned to the next day, if you remember. I just shared with you, right? So the next day dawned, and then we rushed to the court again. And they are bringing Swamiji for the bail hearing. From where, which location, we don't know. So here he is surrounded completely by them, and they've come for the bail hearing, and then the bail is granted, right? The moment the bail is granted, we are just eager to grab Swamiji and take him to safety. Then what happens? They tell us, again, there is a huge mob waiting outside. The place was just thronging, right? And they told us, we will take him and hand over Swamiji safely to you in the border so that you can take him and go, right? And it was not even a situation where we could say a yes or no, right? So we could not even get near Swamiji. We could just stand and watch. And this is information that we were getting from one or two police personnel who were just there in the fringe of it, right? So then what happened? They took him again into the van. So then we started following the van. And the van, instead of going in the direction that they had told us they're going to take him and leave him with us, it went in the opposite direction. And that just ran chills down our spine, right? The van started heading towards Ramnagar, towards the DC magistrate office. And we were wondering, why would they take him? He's been given the bail. He's supposed to be handed over. He's supposed to go back home, right? But they took him back to the DC magistrate's office. And the Adinavasis were actually trying to follow the van very closely. And then what happened was, once the van entered the DC magistrate's office, they locked the gates on the face of the car that was following. And therefore, our Adinavasis could not enter. They were stuck outside. They begged, pleaded to be allowed inside.
God.
And by then, the roads were thronging with people. The media mafia, their vehicles were parked for 1 kilometer stretch leading up to the DC magistrate's office. And we had no clue what was going to happen to him inside. And
First,
then
I just want to reiterate what you're sharing. So what you're saying is, despite of getting the bail, which means legally, the police are supposed to give Swamiji back to us. Instead, they literally kidnapped Swamiji and took them to a different location altogether, which was followed by the media militant forces who are waiting to attack Swamiji. And you will not disclose what they were going to do to Swamiji. And the despite of all the devotees going and pleading along with the legal bail, means the court is ordered.
Yes.
So it's not even a question about justice or anything. Where are they even respecting the law here? That to a law-abiding citizen, Swamiji, first of all, they're just pushing. We can see in these video clips are extremely painful. So when Swamiji is walking, we can just clearly see from behind, they're just pushing. They're actually squeezing Swamiji's hand. Don't know whether they scratch Swamiji with their nails. No idea how much they would have pushed and tortured Swamiji. We can just see even in this clipping. And despite of the legal bail being there, this was what we got. This is something like unimaginable. The injustice, or I don't know what word to use, but understand, just for all of us, despite of this, just not even 1% of what Swamiji has gone through just for us. Oh Hindus, at least now let us all wake up. Understand, this is what is happening to Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism itself. Now, out of his utmost compassion, his tyaga, the sacrifice, he, despite of going through all these, has come down again. Today, again, we are going to be having the live Nithyananda Satsang directly by the Supreme Pontiff of Hindus, just for us. Let us all get ready to receive the avatar. Sit with your head, neck and spine in a straight line. Close your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. Deeply and slowly. Out of the space of gratitude, where we realize the avatar has gone through so much, taken up everything on him, just for us. From this space of deep gratitude, let us all chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Continue to be in the deep meditative space of gratitude as we all prepare ourselves to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the direct audience with the avatar. Continue to sit straight as we all chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham.